Well, it is Wednesday again. Hump Day is upon us. Midway through the week, the weekend is but a few more days away. And then for some of us at least, we can rest. For the rest of us, we just continue working as normal. So, Jack has left the library in my very capable hands, and I must say it is a very impressive library. I've been having a good look around, but taking care of this library, I think, requires two people. So I'm going to introduce, without further ado, the co-hostess with the mostess. It's Vicky. Come on in, Vicky.
Hey, I pressed the right button.
Well done. Well, Jack's libraries are very impressive, isn't it? I quite like it.
Rather good, I have to say.
Yes. Well, I was having a good look around after I changed all the filing system. You know, his modern filing system's no good. We need a nice old school approach.
I hope you got one of those lovely little drawers with all of the record cards in.
Oh, I had to shift a load of sort of bookshelves to one side, but yes, I've got a whole area just covered with these index cards now. Brilliant. All the computers have been thrown out.
Excellent.
Real old-fashioned, old school. But I was having a look around this library and I came across this really weird book. It was a book all about elves in July, elves in bikinis in July. Well, I had to have a good closer look. Grabbed the book and it started to stick to my hands. You know, it's like it was covered in glue. And I was trying to get rid of this book and it just... Well, I was getting quite worried. And then suddenly 2 eyes appeared on the book. And then a row of teeth appeared. And God damn it, the whole thing, the thing was just a mimic. Anyway, I thought that was really strange and quite weird in the library, having got rid of it, stamped it down a bit and chased it out the library. But it gave me an idea. Why don't we talk about the strange and weird creatures within the TTRPG world? Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
I think it sounds like a very good idea, but I don't think that it just needs you and I, Dean.
No.
I think we need some people to help us explore this wonderful world of the weird and the wondrous. So, with no further ado, I think we need to welcome back someone who's been on a break for a while because she's been doing an exceedingly important job. And I'd like to welcome in Alyssa. If I could. Hey, hello,
guys. I am excited to be back. As you guys are aware, I cloned myself, and that's a little bit difficult of a process, especially when at the end. So everything's good. I have dubbed her Squirmy, and she looks way more like her father than she does me because that's how things shake out. But the good news is I like her father. So, anyways, I'm excited to be back. Excited to be talking weird monsters. I don't know, because that is one of my favorite things to do is talk about weird stuff. So.
Oh, excellent! I think we're all going to be right at home here.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I do believe we also have waiting to join us. Is it Paladin Steve?
So, being a paladin sworn to Jack's service as the protector of the library, while you guys are running your system, while you're in charge, I am going to have to ask you to put everything back before he returns. Just saying.
Oh, that means I need to put the computers back and everything. And look how beautiful the card system is. I mean, you can smell those cards, Paladin Steve. There's an odor. There's an odor to the beautiful library.
I personally love it. I'm just saying it. You guys are the caretakers, but it is Jack's library, so.
I understand, but I'm sure Jack will come around to using, the new filing system.
Always.
But anyway, if you insist, I don't want to be smite or smote. I don't want to be smoted, so we shall.
I say smited.
It is smited.
Yeah, smited.
I think technically the proper past tense is smote, but it just sounds weird. I say smited.
It does sound a bit weird.
And for all you lovely people in the audience, greetings, programs.
Right. I think we've got one more, and then I do believe we've had a super chat. So shall we get the last person in?
We will. And then I'm going to first of all do a proclamation about super chats, and then we'll
Yes.
go to the first super chat.
Excellent.
As I almost put myself out of the library, which has been really clever. But
I was
last
just
and
about to say,
certainly
I
not
see somebody in the
least-
background.
Yes.
Last but not least, we have
See,
the
I
brass
think
drake.
this library needs updating. There's nothing in here that's like newer than 1989. I think Jack needs some like modern knowledge and
No.
in
No,
his
no,
library.
He was too modern as it was. We've
It's
gone
very
right the way
dated.
back. Real old school here now. Yeah.
Sneak in a copy of Aragon, and it'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll just sneak that one thing in. Only
Just
that.
see if he notices.
Yeah.
Everything shifted slightly.
And then I would like to highlight to everybody that we have a challenge for you. Last week, there were 3 super chats. This week, we want an additional 7. If we get 7 super chats, which will make 10 over the last 2 weeks, then next week, Dean will wear his frilly shirt. I will make him wear his weird sort of overcooty thing, and I may even delve out a picture of him wearing it in the dim, distant past for you to all see. So that is the challenge of the super chats this week. I'd like to reiterate to all of you that we're caretakers, but every single super chat goes to Jack, goes to his beautiful family. All we're doing here is caretaking and keeping the lights on. We're literally dusting occasionally, and that's about our job. Isn't that right, Dean?
Yes, that is right. Except for the filing system. We replaced that.
Well, that's shh. We're going to keep that quiet now. They might want us to put it
However,
back.
I do believe we have already had a super chat, so thank you
We
very
have.
much.
I'm about to pop it on the screen. So the first one is there from Lord Stug for $2 dues. There, see, there, I did it right this week. Jack is truly the lost law scholar now. He will be back. You will be back. Don't you worry.
I'll bring up the ticket. We were on 3. We're now on 4. Thank you, Lord Stug, for your super chat. So if we get up to 10 super chats in total over the last 2 weeks, I will be forced to come on as Count Dean next week. But I don't think we're going to hit that 10. So I'm very safe.
I do.
No. I'm going to be fine. And it won't carry over another week. So if we miss the target this week, we'll come up with something else next week. And I get
no.
to
Wouldn't it be a
escape.
shame if someone dropped a single dollar?
Real quick, I do want to address something that Lord Stug also put in.
Yeah.
Smitten is technically a past tense form of the word smite, but it has nothing to do with paladins. I'm just going to put that out there for you, Stug. You are technically correct, which is usually the best kind, but it's not the type of smiting I do.
It does if they fall in love.
Oh,
true.
smitten. Oh.
Aww. Anyway,
I'm pretty
just a
sure
quick-
nobody's going to be falling in love with me if I put a great sword through their dome. So,
Family
saying.
show. Family show.
I mean,
Silence is
depending on
never
which
the
part of
answer,
the
Paladin
frontal
Steve.
lobe you hit them in, they might.
Oh,
There's some lobotomy jokes in there, but again, this is a family channel, so
we have another super chat from Lord Stug.
Lord
saying
Stug is
that, yeah,
single-handedly.
no, there's another one after this as well.
Oh my.
But he's throwing down the gauntlet, Paladin Steve. You underestimate his power.
Oh, I do. I got to update it again. 2 seconds.
And then we have Michael
with 5. Well,
Wow.
strictly speaking, Michael, you're 6. So thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. I know Jack will super appreciate it. And oh my, I think we got another one.
Oh, I like the sound of this one, where we have to dress him up with bunny ears, hooded footy pajamas on the show. I think if I make you a deal, if we make the 10 this week and then next week he comes on as Count Dean, we will put something in for him to wear bunny ears, hooded footy pajamas. I like the sound of that.
Oh dear. Oh, we got another one. Another one.
Steve!
Oh no.
We're going to get you in that shirt. I tell you this, it is beautiful. It is frillier than the frilliest shirt you've ever
There's-
seen. It's a
Oh,
proper
no.
frilly shirt.
And we had, did you see the additional one from Michael?
Hang on.
One
Get
super
there.
chat. Two
I
super
haven't
chat.
introduced everyone in the chat yet.
We will get round to that.
So we have another
There-
two from
it
Michael
is.
there. We've got another 5 from Paladin Steve. You're all
Nope,
enjoying
nope.
this way too much.
No, we just got
no,
number
thank
10
you.
in from Jeff from Dencar.
We
Hey.
no, that's
Afro.
if according to me is number 11 from from Jeff.
Oh,
So thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate
Does that
it.
mean he has to wear the makeup as well?
Oh yeah, but we will do a good job. It's yes, I'll count up the next week. Thank you so much for your super chats. Have we missed any super chats?
I'm just running through. So we've got Lord Stug, we've got Jeff from Dencar, lots from Paladin Steve, because Paladin Steve really wanted to see you in your frilly shirt of
I
doom.
know, and don't
We've-
forget we had another one from Michael as
Michael.
well. Oh,
Yes.
I'll put up some more if it gets him into a powdered wig as well. So
about it.
Ooh.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
This
we
is
have
sounding
to-
terrible now, but quite intriguing.
We're just escalating the situation.
We are.
well, it is the weird, isn't it? We said this week was going to be weird
That's
and
true.
interesting. So I think
That's
that's
true.
off to a good start. And look, guys, thank you all so much.
Oh, and we've got another one there. Thank you so much,
Another one.
AGP. Really
I don't think it
appreciate
gets much
Oh.
weirder than the people in this group.
No, it
well,
doesn't.
We are pretty weird. Thank you very much, AGP. We really appreciate it. So, running through, who have we got on the chat tonight? So we've got Low Eves 2. Hello. I don't think I've seen you in. Have we had Low Eves 2 on?
I'm not aware. I don't think
Don't
so. So
recognise
welcome.
it.
Thank
So
you.
welcome. We are all a little bit nuts, but you will find that we have lots of passion about TTRPGs and fantasy. We've got the Dabbling Warlock. So here we are. We've got Low Eves 2. We have the Dabbling Warlock. Hello.
Hey.
We also, so Ashray has just popped out to walk his dog, but he will be back. We have
No, it looks like he's
Michael.
back.
We have
You're
Michael.
back. Hey. And of course, we got the Death Angel Shadow. Hello. I always say that wrong.
Death Angel Shadow. Yes, or Jeff.
I always say it
Nice
okay.
to see you in the chat. I'll be just so you know, I will be going to bed after this and then waking up in literally 3 hours to join you on the Babylon 5 show. So
Unless we keep this going until he has to just move over to your show, you never know.
maybe.
We have got Chris Bingley.
Welcome, Chris.
We have Lord Stug, as we know from all of the super chats. Thank you very much, Lord.
Thank you, Lord Stug.
It's lovely seeing you as always. And the Dabbling Warlock. All fun and games until you run across an underwear limit.
Ooh. Okay, you've got me now double checking my underwear. Oh, that's really creepy. So, talking of mimics, are we ready to get into the show?
Just checking I've not missed anyone. If I have yes, look, Ashray has arrived.
Oh,
Look at that,
thank you,
Ashray.
Ashray.
Way.
You can put your little pet in the back cell, and we'll bring it out in a bit later. Oh, and we got a primeval as well.
also joined. Fantastic. Right, Dean, over to you.
Well,
what are we talking about today?
I thought we'd start with the classic, the thing that really made it this stream come to life, the Mimic. Do you want to pop up some lovely artwork for the Mimic?
Look at that. I've managed to share today.
There we go. The classic Mimic, although that Mimic isn't strictly speaking correct. You see, The mimic was originally created by the great man himself, Gary Gygax, in 1977. A subterranean creature that could perfectly mimic stone or wood, but not metal. So you look at that chest with the metal bindings, that can't be a real mimic. It couldn't stand sunlight and used a sticky pseudopod. I love that word, pseudopod. Like a long adhesive tongue to trap prey before attacking it with more pseudopods and teeth. So Gary invented this to keep players on their toes, to keep them paranoid, to make them double check everything. You know, is that chest a mimic or not? And you know what? Such a simple creature, such a weird creature, and yet it entered our pop culture in a major, major way. I'm just thinking of, I think it was Dark Souls, the mimics in there, they became a meme in their own rights. And the mimic itself has persisted through every edition, being changed slightly from one edition to the next. But according to the lore, mimics were created by wizards, originally to serve as guardians. However, some of them escaped, and would you believe it, some of them bred. So mimics can create smaller mimics that grow up to be bigger mimics. Did you also know that common mimics can speak common, and you can actually have a conversation with them? So maybe next time you're in a dungeon and you're wondering whether a chest is a mimic or not, you should ask it the question, are you a mimic? And see what it says. No. Killer mimics are larger and more predatory and will kill you rather than engage in conversations. So do be careful of the really big chests that look like they hold lots of money. They're probably a killer mimic. So I'm going to throw this open to the panel. Has anybody got anything they want to add to mimics? Any favorite stories or nice anecdotes?
I'll go first, as I'm all the way over here on the left.
Go on, Brass.
So one thing is a big complaint of mine in 5th edition, I don't know if it's like this in older editions with mimics, is there's only the one mimic, and it's the chest, CR2. There needs to be smaller mimics, as you said. There needs to be bigger mimics. I ran a slime-themed dungeon. Everything in it was either a slime, an ooze, or whatever. And mimics are counted as oozes, at least in 5th edition. And I had mimics that were the stairs that they were walking on, the doorways that they were walking through, the pillars in the corridors. And those were giant mimics as well. I won this. There's artwork. I think it's from the Monster Manual Expanded, so it's not official work, but it's literally a tower, like a stone tower, that is a mimic. And that was a great dungeon, because at that point, like if you see a chest, you think, oh, mimic. But this one, oh no. The dungeon itself could be the mimic.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, anything could be a mimic. I think the whole chest idea really came around, I think, due to Dark Souls, because Dark Souls used the chest as the mimic, and it really, exploded into popular culture from there. But mimics, they can mimic anything that is made of wood or stone. So the pillars, doors, stuff like that, absolutely perfect for mimics. Has anybody got anything else they want to talk, want to discuss or share about mimics?
I mean, there's really not a whole lot more to say about mimics. I mean, they are a classic monster that get unfortunately used far too often in the classic cliche of the treasure chest. So, because who, after just completing an intense battle with the bad guy, is really thinking, okay, I got to be careful about the treasure chest.
Yes.
Right. It's a classic trap.
It is. And I think because it's classic, because it's overused, I think it becomes, it loses some of its specialness. Alyssa, did you have anything to add as well?
Well, and she might pipe up too on this. I think it's almost as fun to use it as like a psychological thing where, hold on one second. All right. Speaking of speaking common, all right, calm down. We're just talking about mimics. It's okay. And here
I don't think she likes mimics.
I don't think she likes mimics either. I did.
Does anybody really do, though?
No, I find them absolutely
What if she's a
terrifying.
mimic?
Well, the good news
the
is
number
if she's a mimic, then her dad is about to find out.
Right.
Oh, hang
I
on a
think-
minute. Just hold that thought, because
Okay.
I just want to. So it gives you a chance to breathe. But we have had another super chat in. The mimics are
Ooh.
chess things that are at least as old as Dragon Quest monsters. Don't know which game used them first. That's from Lord Stug.
Do you know what? I think Dragon Quest monsters might have been before. Do you know what? Whilst we continue, I'm going to have a bit of research on that because I don't know which game came first. I know the Mimic was.
Intrigued, Dean, now.
It was a creation of Gary Gygax, and then other genres and other games and started to borrow it. But yes, which one of those two? I'll have to have a look at that.
Anyway, Alyssa.
I think it's almost as fun to play around with like the psychological warfare component of mimics at this point, because that's true. I make them special myself. Because I remember in a 5th edition game recently, a campaign that was happening a couple of years ago. Everyone was like, "Is it a mimic? Is it a mimic?" Like, kind of like just poking things and that kind of thing. And there's only one mimic we actually encountered, but there's almost a fun component to people not being sure if something like if mimics are going to be common or not. So I think it's fun playing with the expectations that you go in with, especially if you can like. I know subverting expectation has like a little bit of a dirty tone nowadays, thanks to the internet. But I think there are ways you can use the idea of inanimate objects being traps that could be fun. Or if you have a wizard that is like a dungeon keeper, quote unquote. Or if you're going up against a wizard, I feel like there are creative ways to implement mimics into your game that are lore specific that can make things fun. Even though they do get overused, I think there's ways to play with them.
Absolutely.
I think
Cyrus,
you're right.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And Jeff from another super chat. Really appreciate that.
But this is really interesting. And I love super chats like this because it adds to everything. So for 10 Canadian dollars, my best mimic story is the time our group found a giant mimic with high intelligence. And this it sort of links in with what you were saying about they can speak. They gave it an ironstone of sustenance and had it turn into our group's guild hall. A great way to cut down on break-ins. I think that's absolutely superb.
And using the mimic for its intended purpose, a guardian to guard an area or prevent people from stealing. So I think that is fantastic. What a great group you've got there.
Yeah.
I mean, I can neither confirm or deny that I have contemplated a dungeon with that exact scenario. A wizard who turned out to be a necromancer, secretly sacrificing a bunch of people at a giant abbey. And he had a mimic guarding his room. So anybody who might try to go into his room without his permission gets eaten by the mimic. And it's like it's a beneficial relationship between the two of them. The mimic guards the door and gets to eat whatever tries to go into his room without his permission.
I think that's, yeah.
And then that opens up the possibility of the wizard executed the ritual to become a lich, and nobody's been going down there lately. The mimic is starving. If the party discovers that it's a mimic, maybe they bargain with it. Yeah. Find a rat or something running around the place and feed the mimic, and the mimic lets them through.
Do you know what? That's a fantastic way of bringing in a mimic, because you've got all this kind of prepared stuff that the party can do, finding out. I mean, especially if the wizard becomes a lich, surely the mimic would become a bit of a legend around that location or that wizard.
Assuming anybody remembers.
Oh yeah, good
Just
point.
Thinking, if you're a vampire, it's a very good place to hide your philosophy.
Yeah.
Vampires don't. Liches do. Liches have phylacteries.
I always get it the wrong way around. The things that we the vampires can hide their coffins in it.
Yes.
Anyway, we have Cyrus Wright in the chat. Hello. You're welcome.
I feel like you can also have, as a GM, have fun with a stat block with the mimic, like we were talking about earlier, having small mimics and big mimics. That depending on magical augmentation or how long the mimic has been active and growing. Because if you have a baby mimic, and then you have like a standard mimic, it could be that the older the mimics get, and then the more inundated it gets with magic. Or that kind of thing. It was something that also comes to mind is like, hey, what if people, like a mimic takes the form of the statue of a god at a local temple, and the village starts feeding it, thinking it's an avatar, and because it speaks common, it becomes almost like this. I don't know if it'd be quite in the realm of tulpas yet, where the idea that something gains power the more like thought goes towards it and the more people think about it. But I think that could be an interesting horror, like a clever horror twist, is that the statue is just like a very powerful mimic, like in it. So I don't know. There are
all of the stuff in the chat about outhouses and toilets being mimics is just making me go.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
That I don't like.
So, I was going to say, somebody had a question earlier about mimics in Dragon Quest. I did a quick search.
Oh, fantastic!
They first appeared in Dragon Quest III, released in 1988, as an advanced deceptive version of the weaker Canabox, which was designed to look like an ordinary treasure chest.
Yes, I remember. I've been playing the remastered version of that game, and yes, they're nasty little creatures in that game. Very, very difficult to defeat.
My favourite mimic meme is the one with the barbarian drinking from a mimic mug, and he intimidates it into remaining as a mug until he's finished his drink.
I know that one. That's fantastic. Before we move on from mimics, however, I want to make a special mention to one of the weirdest mimic kind of influenced TV episodes I've ever watched. Appears twice, and that's Polymorph from Red Dwarf, where the polymorph can turn into all these different shapes. So you never know whether you're holding it or not. And then it sucks your emotions from you rather than eat you, turning you into a kind of a very inferior version of yourself. Not too sure if you've any of you have seen Red Dwarf, very old TV show.
It's a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not those ones.
I have not, but kind of speaking to what Alyssa was talking about, if anybody is familiar with the author Simon R. Green, he had a book series, the Nightside series, which basically dealt with a kind of parallel dimension in London where it's always 3 a.m. and you can find, anything just about. And I mean anything. You're talking, angels, devils, monsters you can't describe. It's a very depraved, very out there place that nobody in their right mind goes. And in the very first book, Something from the Night Side, the main character has been hired to find somebody's missing daughter. And it turns out the person who hired him to find the missing daughter was actually a projection of the antagonist of the story, which was a being from a totally other realm of existence who appeared in the Night Side as a house and used its psychic powers to draw everybody around it in so it could eat them.
Wow.
Sounds
So
quite scary.
Even if you don't use the name mimic, the idea of a creature that can take the form of normal stuff to draw in prey has existed it's existed in many different forms.
For a modern example, prop hunting, Call of Duty. You turn into objects and you got to play hide and seek and you figure out which objects are the players and shoot them.
Yeah,
I'm for snipe hunting myself.
Yeah. Right, we're treading dangerously into first-person shooter territory here, so let's move on. Shall we have a look at the second creature? Can anybody guess what it could be? Do you want to bring up the image?
We will once I've moved over to
That's
the
okay.
screen and press the button. Wait,
That's a mimic.
it's still a mimic. But
Do you wanna
then
move
we
to the
do
next one?
this.
There we go. It's the
It's not hard
Umber
to guess.
Hulk.
You've written the name on the top.
I know. Well, I wrote the name on the top so that you could
So I
locate
wouldn't
it more
lose it.
easily. So, the Umber Hulk, another classic creation of Gary Gygax, back in 1975, first appeared in the Greyhawks supplement 1 Greyhawk. And he came up with this creature because he bought a big bag of cheap knockoff dinosaur-esque toys that were made in Hong Kong. And one of those toys was the Ultraman Antler Keiju. So if we move to the next figure,
What the next figure?
yeah, just move to the next image. You move to the next image. That is effectively what the Umber Hulk was based on. And it had very confusing eyes. And Gary was struggling to figure out just what were the eyes, what weren't the eyes. And then he went, do you know what? I'm going to give it an ability. And he gave it the classic, if viewed squarely, its 4 eyes cause confusion. Save versus magic or confused for 3 to 12 rounds. And that is how the Umber Hulk gained its confusing vision, its confusing gaze, is because it was difficult and very confusing to see where the eyes were or what the eyes were. Gary designed this as a tough, high-level challenge for experienced players, something to take them by surprise. They'll be walking down a corridor, they'll feel the trembling behind, the bricks of the wall will suddenly go crashing into the corridor, and this creature would come lumbering through, potentially taking the party by surprise. And as an added bonus, it meant sometimes, if you got lucky as the DM, the party would be fighting each other. What a great, wonderful, weird creature. Has anybody on the panel got anything to add? Any experiences of Umber Hulks? Used them in any particular way, or any good anecdotes that we might want to listen to?
See, I've used them a couple of times. Jack's used them a couple of times in his D&D games. The problem is, I don't know if this is a thing in older editions, but in 5th edition, I think there's a rule where you can just avert your gaze and never look at it. Now, yes, you'll get disadvantage on attacks because you're not looking, but it kind of completely bypasses the mechanic of these creatures. But other than that, I like the idea. I like how it's based off of an action figure, because it just makes it a more unique monster, and it's also funny looking at its like actual eyes, which are the 2 little dots. It looks goofy when you look past the big, obvious, because insects have this as well. Some insects and other animals have false eyes. So I can see where it kind of gets the inspiration from. But the actual real ones, they look so funny to me. They're like
they do. Talking of false eyes, the basilisks from Dark Souls have the false eyes as well. Yeah. Alyssa, have you got anything about Umber Hulks?
I'll be honest. I don't think I've encountered an Umber Hulk in a game.
I think you're
thankful.
Yeah.
Yes, Dean likes them.
I do.
No. I feel like this is foreshadowing to like a year from now when I'm in a game that you're in, and all of a sudden it's like he just looks over and is like, I've been waiting for this moment for 18 months. What?
Well,
Roll for initiative.
No. Yeah, he almost wiped out the whole of our party by basically confusing Gaze, the massive fighter.
Let me tell the true story, and it was a total party wipe because
it was
our power game player, and this is the third ed days.
That's always a good start to a story.
Created a Hammer of Moradin, which is a stupidly broken build in 3rd edition, 3.5. And they came up against an Umber Hulk. He failed his saving throw, became confused, and rolled, I think it was a 1, which meant he was attacking the party.
Mm-hmm.
And he was killing people in a couple of hits because he had created the most stupidest, overpowered character that I didn't have the heart. And I got so tired of constantly arguing with this player. And it was like, well, it's in the rules. And I went, yep, It's in the rules. Let's go with it. Strangely enough, actually, and it was the last 3rd edition game I actually ran. I moved to a different edition after that.
That's a really good way of dealing with power players. Because I always think to myself, how do you deal with a power player without just stun locking them out of playing the game?
You get them to attack the party.
You get them to use
And
their
then
build
the
and
players
feel
murder
bad
that
about it.
player, and they don't come to the table again.
To be perfectly honest, he
The
thought
other
it was really
players
cool.
deal with the problem for you.
Yes. Steve, do you have any tales or anything to add about Umber Hulks?
So I've never encountered an Umber Hulk either, but that image came up on the screen, and the very first thing my mind went to was one of the very first bosses that you encounter in the game, Secret of Mana, the Antlion. And it looked almost exactly like that, a big, giant, hulking insectoid creature with massive mandibles that it's like, you don't want to mess with this thing. So, and that's like one of the biggest purposes of creatures like this is you make the party question, do I really want to do this?
Oh yeah,
you have to have that somewhere.
Yeah,
and that's
I'm personally quite surprised that the Umber Hulk isn't as well experienced by you all, because it is a classic monster. It was in Baldur's Gate 2 in a very big way. There was a whole room full of these Umber Hulks in a castle that you were trying to take control of, and it was considered one of the toughest fights unless you had certain protection spells to get you immune or resistant to their gaze.
As I said, me and Jack have run them. I feel like the thing about Umber Hulks is because they're a gimmick monster. That one thing they do, once you figure that out, they become less threatening. It's like a basilisk. Once you know, don't look at it or put a mirror in front of it, then you've kind of beat the encounter. But when me and Jack both ran them, we paired them with Ankegs. And honestly, the Ankegs ended up being more threatening than the Umber Hulk.
I will be honest. I think in 5e, the Umber Hulk damage has been toned down quite a bit.
It's still a hard-hitting monster for its level, but it's not like the most memorable monster.
If someone averts their gaze, and this could be done in the early editions as well, there were huge penalties. So just using 5e, you'd have disadvantage on your attacks, but the Umber Hulk would then get advantage on its attacks.
That's a good point. We didn't do the advantage part.
And
the disadvantage.
That's important because the person can't defend themselves against the Umber Hulk. So the Umber Hulk's hitting hard. 1 in 10 attacks will be a critical strike, and doubling their damage is huge. And in good enough numbers, you can pretty much hamper a party and potentially take them down if they're struggling to hit the creature and the creature's always hitting them. So the Umber Hulk, it's a fantastic creature. If you haven't used one and you're running a game, I highly recommend you try and put one into your game and see the party just fall apart.
It's quite interesting because Cyrus has put, can it be attacked with, I always say this, diatomaceous earth.
Diatomaceous.
Diatomaceous earth, that's it.
I'm struggling to understand the context of what diatomaceous earth is.
I think there is something. I remember reading something about Umber Hulks, but I don't know what it is. We're going to have to check on that, and I'm going to have to find out.
We will have to check. Yeah. Right.
Umber Hulks.
Maybe it's in reference to his joke about the Umber Bruce Banner becomes the Umber Hulk.
Could be.
I'm also rubbish at jokes. Ask everybody. I'm terrible.
You are. I come up with these amazing puns and jokes, and Vicky just looks at me deadpan, just straight over her head. Kills bugs. All right.
Sprays it with bug spray.
Yes, a bug bomb in the face of an Umber Hulk. I would say that should give you a big bonus against the Umber Hulk. And then the cloud.
They have the alchemist or the artificer in the group.
Yes, and then of course you can't see its eyes, so you can't be confused by the gates because there's a cloud of poisonous bug smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
Right, those were the two kind of weird and strange creatures that I wanted to discuss. So we're going to move on now to our panel and some of the creatures that they've brought along. Let's.
Well, I think we're starting with Alyssa, aren't we?
We are. Do you want to bring up the images again, and we'll move forward? Oh, look
This
at that!
one. That's truly terrifying.
That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that when you guys mentioned weird creatures and that kind of thing, my mind was brought back to when I must have been like 12 or 13 at the time. And interestingly enough, I believe this was like a Castles and Crusades game. And I remember us all being in this cavern. And I'm not quite sure of the differentiation between ropers in Castles and Crusades and ropers in the different D&D editions. So this is just what I remember. I remember coming in and all of a sudden we're asked to roll for dex or something. And it's like, why? This was my first game panic moment, and all of a sudden something drops from the ceiling, and it starts suffocating the person it lands on. It's just like what I remember that was a roper, and in doing research, I was like, this is the perfect monster for this discussion, because it's like it's similar to the mimic, but not quite. Because it takes camouflage, but from what I understand, it's less like a true creature that morphs into something else, and more like a snail or a slug that like takes on. It's like partially camouflaged, but partially can take in the shell from something else and kind of carry it with them.
Do you know what? You've confused a couple of creatures here. And I know exactly which creature you're talking about.
Okay, all right. Because there's the piercer, and then there's the roper, and then because when I was doing the research for it, they're like very similarly categorized, and I don't know if some editions bring them together or not. But the roper is just weird.
I would agree with you there. The roper is a strange creature. Was your roper that you fought, did it have long tentacles?
Yeah, it did have long tentacles as well.
So this may be something unique to Castles and Crusades then. Steve, you can confirm this. I think as
Paladin
a C&C
Steve's
player.
just finds it.
Yeah. Do they cling to the ceiling then?
So
I'm trying to remember. Maybe there was like a house rules thing.
You're reading from Monsters and Treasures, according to Troll Lore Games. A roping lurker is a subterranean menace, lairing in rough and wet caverns and tunnels. They are predators of an insidious sort, killing not just for food, but for pleasure. They delight in the slow terror of their depredations. A roping lurker can appear like a stalactite or a stalagmite, but they prefer to hang from roof caverns where they are less accessible and frequently not noticed until it's too late.
That's exactly what you were
I think you were spot on. Yeah.
I'd like to thank my 12-year-old for crystallizing that moment of terror, because I think I don't have the monster block in front of me. I think do they start smothering people, or was that like a different edition?
That might be a cloaker.
Or you're talking a lurker above.
Well, I think it landed on somebody. It was pretty nasty. Maybe I'm confused.
That sounds like a lurker above, which is why I said it might have been a couple of creatures. A lurker above.
I don't know.
Disguises itself as a cabin roof or the roof of a dungeon room.
We're going to blame the postpartum brain and keep talking about ropers for a second.
Yeah, I think ropers are really interesting.
Yeah, it's because depending on the version that you go to, and I feel like if you wanted to, you could house rule it as hanging from the ceiling or disguising itself further, because I've heard that they can do caverns, but they can also do like different locations. They can do underwater. It's mostly about blending in, and because they are more intelligent. They're not like intelligent as people, but they're clever enough to like think. I think they would qualify as one of the monsters that strategizes, basically, from what I was reading, depending on the edition, I guess, in the system. But the monsters know what they're doing. That's what the books are called. You could place them pretty strategically if you wanted to. You could do multiples. You could combine the roper with different things. And I guess I should. They have the pseudopods that come out from them and just snag people, and it's just a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And
Frightening.
The pseudopods or tentacles, is that what Ashray's referring to with it's a Japanese underground monster?
The weird thing is that according to the guy, because I was trying to update my memory, and clearly I did a fantastic job with it. According to the stuff I was looking at, it's not really a tentacle. It's more like a chameleon tongue that it sticks to people. But I don't know. Maybe he was also wrong.
It's a rope.
Well,
yeah.
My manual does have a lurker in it as well.
Ooh.
And I think that's the one you're talking about, because it's the one that specifically mentions a type of dexterity attack, because the lurker will either basically lay flat on the floor or it'll hide from above. And if it's on the floor, then when it's got its prey in perfect position, it's going to try and fold up and catch you.
Yeah.
But if it's coming from above, it's basically trying to drop on you. And that's when you're making a dexterity check to get out of the way, and it specifically calls for a
never mind. 12-year-old me was dumb and confused things. But I think both creatures are a great example of using strategic and trap elements with monsters, especially in like cavern locations, and keeping a sense of paranoia in a space that feels empty but could easily become a deadly encounter if you underestimate the space.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think they both qualify for weird and strange creatures. Yeah.
So I'd like to apologize to the chat. Send your complaints to Jack. I'm sure he would receive them very well, and I'll ban myself from this for 2
Don't you
weeks.
dare. Don't you dare. We love having you, and it doesn't matter whether it's a roper or a thingy from above or whatever.
A lurker above, yes.
I think the main thing is that fear that those creatures actually, we remember those. It's like my experience being wiped out after an Umber Hulk.
Yeah.
Do you remember those monsters, those weird and wacky monsters that just leave that impression? That's lived with you since you were 12. I bet you don't go into a cave without looking up.
No, and that's the fun part about some of these monsters, when you can remember their names right on live streams years later. You can't, especially like. Sorry, let me rewind. My baby brain is still affecting me.
You're allowed to have a baby brain. You're doing far better than me, and I haven't got that excuse. Okay.
I love being able to build a sense of paranoia, and I think when I was in the chat last week, I was on my phone one-handed, and the baby was here, so like she was trying to kick the phone out of my hand half the time. So I apologize, but I think there is a way to create an element of fear around creatures and situations when you like set things up. I don't want to say correctly, but when you look at an encounter, you can create a really eerie sense, and that's the part of the fun part about things like lurkers, ropers, piercers, and what other monsters got mentioned during the course of the last 5 minutes. Is the paranoia, especially if you set that up early on in the dungeon or the tower or the temple or the underground system or the mine shaft. Because if something like that happens early, but almost past the point of no return, it's like, what other creatures are going to be lurking in the dark? And it's going to have them examining the space in a whole different way the further they go into the area, especially if it's I don't mind 5e's like power scaling, but especially if it's like a lower level kind of campaign where death is a little bit more guaranteed, like lower level Pathfinder, Castles and Crusades, and 5e, where you can just death can come from above quite literally.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I enjoy that kind of game where it's just like a boring death is
Oh, he's going to have an interesting death.
Yeah.
You always do, and I always remember I was playing in a friend's game, and in the first sort of cavern we got hit with piercers. So of course we survived, but it was shields up going forward. So when we went into the room with our shields up to protect us from piercers, and the lurker above then dropped on us because we weren't looking at the ceiling anymore.
Mhm.
And we were penalized on our checks to try and get out the way. And yes, those are the memories you create, and some of the weird and wonderful stuff you get within creatures to allow you to do that. So
See, my
want
two
to hear-
experiences. Oh, wait, go on, Vicky.
No, go on.
I was going to say my two experiences of ropers, unfortunately, are not really that memorable. They're not really that impressive because, like I said, the first one, Tyranny of Dragons, one of the first things you fight. For some reason, Roper entered the dungeon and you got to speak to it rather than fight it. Which, to be fair, we were low level, we were level 2, so we did not want to fight this thing. But
Yeah.
you're meant to talk to it, even though it doesn't speak. So I'm pretty sure whoever designed that module literally didn't know what a Roper was. Alyssa, did
Well,
you
I
design
mean-
this module?
Wow. You come into my living room.
No.
You come into my house.
Shots fired.
oh,
But
Listen,
sadly, there's the second one, right? Steve knows this one because he was here for it. Jack ran a roper. It was clinging to the top of the cavern. It didn't fall off the cavern. It just stayed up there. And
See,
it grappled
Jack-
everyone in the room, flinging everyone around. But I was a level 11 paladin with a legendary sword. So the minute I tricked it into bringing me closer to it so I could hit it, I one-shot the thing.
you smarted him. We
Yeah,
can't
that-
smoked them. Yeah.
smarted.
That
smoot.
roper was my first combat encounter at Jack's table, actually, and it was a very interesting experience. Like I said, it was my first combat encounter at the table. It was the second session back from holiday break, so everybody's still kind of shaking the rust off and everything. It was definitely a very fun, very very fun encounter. My cleric's glasses got broken when I got flung across the room and failed a dexterity save. But I mean, these are definitely creatures. Both, the roper and the lurker both are classified as aberrations. So these are definitely creatures that are designed to mess with your head.
Mm.
So
Absolutely.
in fact, the lurker
it-
doesn't.
Couldn't remember anything, so maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, the lurker doesn't come with it, but the roper, at least in Castles and Crusades, actually can affect your sanity if you're playing with those types of rules at your table. So, these are definitely creatures that, not only are they, there to reinforce, be wary at all times, but there are worse ways to lose your characters than death.
Yes.
There is. And I would just like to say welcome to Great Old Ones School, or Great Old Ones channel. Good afternoon and welcome to Jack's The Lost Laws Scholars channel with Minion 1 and Minion 2 babysitting right now.
Yes. And we talk about the loss of sanity and you magically appear. Welcome.
And with that, I do believe we've got something from Steve's worst nightmares.
Go on.
Maybe I'll know what this one is.
Wow.
You have entered a dark room. It is pitch black. You are likely to be eaten by a grue.
Oh, it's a grue.
Yes.
Yeah, a grue. So a grue.
So-
I've never used a grue. Go on, Steve.
So the grue is, at least in our circle of things, most commonly known from the game Zork, which is also where that very passage I just recited came from. But the word actually goes back to Middle English and Archaic English and Scots as a verb meaning to shudder or to feel horror or dread. So it is, in fact, where the word gruesome comes from, something that induces a feeling of horror or dread. So it was first used in fiction in Robert Louis Stevenson's short story, The Waif Woman, basically talking about a character who a grue took hold upon her flesh. So basically saying that she was feeling this feeling. And then in Jack Vance's Dying Earth series is when we see the grue as a creature, vaguely described as a humanoid bat, man, ocular bat, unusual hoon that lurks in dark forests and ruins. So now that's pretty much the only place you're going to get any sort of real description of this creature, because by the time you get up to Zork in 1977 and Castles and Crusades, which is where I pull it from, the Zork the grue very purposefully doesn't have a description, because this is a creature that exists in total darkness. That is where it lives. That is where it hunts. It flees instantaneously from any light. So
it sounds the most horrific creature.
It very much is. The creature's never deliberately shown in Zork or any kind of manuals for it. I showed you the picture from the Castles and Crusades manual, and it's literally just a maw of teeth coming from the darkness. So, in fact, part of the description here, when it's talking about the magical darkness, the grue is surrounded by a 50-foot radius of constant dark spells. So you're talking 100 feet across from one side to the other is this darkness spell, right? And this thing already lives in the deepest, darkest parts of the underground. Okay, that's how much it hates the light. If you manage to dispel the darkness, which can only be done with a level 8 spell, it will instantly flee. And the only description the characters are going to get, those seeing the grue will only see a fleeting form, something bipedal cloaked in black hair. That is the most description that you're ever going to get on what a grue looks like in this game, because it is all about the darkness. It is all about finding you when you are at your most vulnerable and eating you. And
nice.
It does not leave behind any bodies. It eats the entire thing because its metabolism is slow, because it's got to survive on what comes down there, and very, very few people go that deep. So this is another one of those characters that's all about teaching players about properly preparing, because the oldest trope, the oldest joke in the role-playing community, the cavern is dark, and what's everybody's instant response?
Dark vision.
I have dark vision. Well, guess what? Dark vision ain't going to help you if you ain't got anything to scare off the thing that hunts in the darkness.
The
Right?
spelling
I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing because the first thing I saw when we all said darkness is Cyrus said fireball.
I didn't ask how big the room was.
I mean,
Love it.
in all fairness, if I open up a door and I see that, that's going to be my first reaction.
Yeah.
Just fireball.
Oh, it is. The spelling of grue, that's GRUE, isn't it?
GRUE.
Yes. So yeah, very nasty creature. I've never, until you mentioned it, Steve, I'd never actually came across this. The image that we've taken there is from Magic the Gathering, and it's about the closest image I could get to something that wasn't just darkness.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't remember where I heard of a grue from. I just remember when he mentioned it was a grue, I was like, I've heard that before. I couldn't remember where the hell I've encountered something like this. It might have been like Legend of Zelda on Nintendo 64 or something. But as I was looking it up then, I think the channel's called The Dungeon Dad, and he converts old obscure monsters from other editions and other games into 5th edition, and he has done a video on it, so that might have been where I've seen it from. But that sort of thing is what, like, that's a proper horror monster for me, because it's something that's unseen basically might as well be formless because you're never really going to see its true form. And that to me is like, that's a layer below Ropers and Umberhulks, right? That's something you'd find beneath the Underdark, like even further down, you know, the deep things in the earth, like in Tolkien lore, that type of thing. Like, it's just, I guess I'd say it's like a typical monster, but it's not. It's like a nightmare. That's what it is.
This thing really isn't. I mean, one of the things that I didn't mention at first, one of them, at least in the Castles and Crusades version of the monster, one of the mechanics of this creature is, which is why nobody can give any kind of description to it, is when it dies, it implodes on itself and leaves nothing behind. So even in death, you're not going to know what this thing is.
Like
if you manage to kill it, it completely disappears, and its death implosion may harm you.
I got to be honest, this creature would be perfect in a Doctor Who episode. You know, it's got that kind of mystery and fear and dread, and the Doctor's trying to find a way of defeating it. Yeah,
or an Untold Destiny conversion.
Maybe
this is another one of those that falls under the classification of aberration. It does have a sanity mechanic to it, so encountering one could affect your sanity if you're playing with that at your table. So this is all about how can you mess up your players with unconventional stuff.
Fantastic. Do you know what, has anybody
noticed?
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed all of the ones that we've had recently. So this is before we go on to brasses. They've all been related to being underground. The Umberhulk tunnels. Yeah, the roper and the droppy things, they're all cavernous. Gru, that's definitely something you're going to find. But what are we moving to next?
Ooh.
Shall we have a look? What do you reckon?
Before we get, if you don't mind, I had a thought on the Gru.
Yeah. Go on.
Oh yeah.
I think that one could be an interesting, like, ecology of the dungeon kind of clue thing going on, because if you enter like a new layer of the dungeon, or enter like a new area and there's nothing in it at all, like no other monsters, no other things, like you find like like age-old remains of other things left behind by other monsters, but you don't actually find anything because it eats the other bodies. Like, I think that could be an interesting, like we were saying before with the ropers and such, a neat paranoia where it's just like, okay, what's going on here? Because in all the other areas there's been like monsters and goblins and things like that, but what took out all of these creatures? And then it builds up to this new, like the door opening, or you have to find a way around it, or you have to sneak past it, or you have to find a way to deal with it.
Especially if you pair it with, you know, some sort of fake out, because what is the classic, you know, what we typically call the dungeon's Roomba?
The gelatinous cube,
which it'll eat anything organic. The only thing that the only thing it won't consume is like the armor and weapons and stuff like that, which just get trapped inside of its body. So it could be like one of the ultimate fake outs, with the Gru not leaving behind any kind of bones or anything as evidence of its preying. You know, you start coming across this part of the dungeon where you're not finding anything left behind, and now you're in a position where everybody's like, oh, keep an eye out. There's, you know, probably a gelatinous cube about, because those things are notoriously impossible to see because they're invisible, right? People walk into them.
Yeah.
So you start walking through this part of the dungeon and you're like, oh, there's nothing around here. There's probably a gelatinous cube. Be careful. And then next thing you know, you're getting pounced on.
And then at the far end of the hall, you see that the torches are gone. There's just like a black wall. And then the torches slowly start going out, and it starts moving closer and closer towards you.
Yep.
On the little side note about gelatinous cubes, though, in the slime dungeon I mentioned with the mimics, we had a fire elemental that the group summoned walk into a gelatinous cube. Now, both of these creatures are the same size. They can both enter each other's space, and they both deal damage to creatures that are in their space. So they just sort of cancel each other out.
You got this gelatinous cube bubbling away, and this fire elemental
I'm
slowly
just
being
picturing
quenched.
you picking sticking like a matchstick in some Jello and seeing what happens,
Yeah.
or like a Bic lighter into Jello and just.
In fact,
Why
get
you
some
say I've
Jello,
got
put
this
a
sudden
Bunsen
desire
burner
to
down
try.
into it, or one of those torches, and do that. And I think that's a closer approximation. It's self-generating fire within Jello. Amazing. I bet you won't.
Are we allowed to burn Jello on Jack's channel? I think we are.
Well, we are
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Next week, if we hit 20 super chats, I will on camera get a Bic lighter and some jelly, and we'll see what happens when we put a live flame.
Do you know what? I can't sanction this because I'm sure YouTube has some terms and conditions that make this not
Today on the library channel, we're seeing will it explode?
All right,
moving on.
As the paladin of the library, I'm putting my foot down.
Yes. Moving on. What have we got next, Vicky?
What have we got next? Well, is this one an underground creature?
Look at this thing.
Or isn't it?
No, this is a swamp creature. So we're moving on from terrifying to whimsical. This is the Catoblepus, but I call it a Catoblepus because Catoblepus is hard to pronounce. And this thing is... It is a swamp creature. It is a warthog mixed with a buffalo, mixed with a dinosaur, mixed with a hippopotamus. And that's just the D&D version. It could be any random bullshit you want to include in there. It's got it. Apparently, this thing comes from African folklore or like mythology. And it may well have been a Roman's first encounter with a warthog. So when they went home to tell their friends what they encountered, they basically described some weird thing. It's got a very long neck like a giraffe as well, which makes no sense. But the greatest thing about this, right? So looking at this monster, what would you think this monster does?
You want me to bring it back up?
If you like, yeah.
Go on. And I'd just like to say we've got, just before we go into that, we have some new people who've joined us. We've got, so the Dungeon Delver's made an appearance. Hello, Dungeon Delver.
Hello, Mr. Delver.
He's
Great
here to correct
have you
me
here.
immediately. Like, oh my God.
Yes.
Like, there you go.
I'm just glad I managed to get all of my stuff out right at the start before you arrived.
Catoblepus. Yeah, that's kind of what we were saying.
Yeah.
We're close enough.
Go.
Emphasis on the last bit.
And we got the heretical nerd as well. Thank you and
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you very much for coming along and looking at our weird and wonderful creatures. Go on, Brass.
So let me explain what this thing does. Right, you know, it can kick you, it can bite you. It's got a club tail, all the sort of things you'd expect from that monster. But its most unique ability is that it has a death ray. So when it looks at you, and it can disintegrate you on the spot with its gaze, melts your flesh or whatever. And you know what? If I was to design this monster, I probably would have given it a death ray as well, because it looks like it was designed by a 5-year-old. And a death ray is exactly what I would give my monsters if I was designing it at that age. So I just really love this thing. I haven't had a chance to use it properly. I did have one in my swamp arc my players are going through, but they fucking missed it. So I'm going to have to reposition it somewhere else. They're a little bit too high level at this point. Though it's only like a CR5. But I just feel like this thing is amazing, because you look at it, you would not know what it does, and then it just insta-kills you with its eyes.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but that's like you just look like what in tarnation, and then you hear the
No.
sci-fi like laser noise from Star Trek, and then your buddy's gone.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe in early editions, first and second ed, its head was so heavy and its neck was so weak that often they'd just have their heads buried in the swamp.
Yeah, they always look down, apparently. That's one of the bits of lore.
You could be walking through the swamp. The swamp gas is kind of clear. And you could be surrounded by a herd of these that haven't looked at you because they just haven't had the energy or strength to lift their heads. So you're now in this position where if you attack one, it could spur the others on to have a look at you, or you just hope you can creep back out that swamp without alerting any of them or having any of them raise their heads.
It's fantastic. And when they are like hunting, I mean, you wouldn't think that thing's much of a hunter. It looks more like a herbivore. But when they will coordinate their attacks so that creatures get caught in the crossfire of their death rays. So imagine you thinking you've escaped this thing, and then it just eyeballs you to death. Like,
It gives you the side eye.
look at that thing.
There we go. Yep.
All
Head
beautiful
buried in the
monster.
water.
right, that looks a little bit more intimidating, I will say. But
Yeah, I was saying how like Steve's the Gru, that's like my ideal horror monster. The Catoblepas, that's like peak like creativity right there. That's like
yeah.
you don't get you got griffins which are just lion and bird, whatever, boring. Hippogriffs, horse, bird, boring. Look at that thing. It's just
Now, was that another Gygax original, or did that come in like later?
It's based off of ancient. I mean, Dungeon Delver said it's from a medieval painting, but when I looked it up, apparently it's from like African, like Roman sort of times. So I'm sure it's based off of actual mythology. I don't think the actual mythology one looks exactly the same, but it is very close. I know it is like part warthog, part other things. Like a lot of things in mythology are. It's just mix a few creatures together and it becomes a thing. But it's been in it since first edition, so.
Yeah, and I bet in like the mythology there is like some like stairs and you turn into stone, but I think Gygax just like no death ray.
Yes, he was just like, what can we give this? Death ray. Go on. Save versus death magic. That was always a classic save.
Oh, no,
it was a terrible save.
Apparently it does have a lethal gaze in mythology. Right, this is the AI overview, so it could be complete bullshit. But it does say it's characterized by its lethal gaze or poisonous breath in some situations, and also usually it has its head drooped because it's too heavy for its neck.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just sorry, Steve.
Everything about this creature screams, "Just leave me alone."
Yeah,
so,
it does. I'm minding my own business.
So in the monster and treasure manual for Castles and Crusades, its disposition is listed as neutral, so it's not one of those that's going to intentionally go after you. All right. In the description, the very first sentence: the Catoblepas is a creature with no redeeming qualities or abilities. So, we've gone through this.
Coffee.
We've gone through the basic physical description, but it further goes on. The smell of the creature is offensive to anyone nearby.
Is it intelligent, or is it like have like what level of intelligence does the creature
It has
have?
animal intelligence.
Wow.
So
it smells bad.
It looks horrible.
Dumb.
It smells horrible. It's as we've covered, its head is so heavy that it usually keeps it underwater where it can like somewhat be supported. This thing it's not one of those creatures that's really going to go after you unless you're stupid enough to go after it first, and then it's going to punish you.
And I don't know if it was in Florida, there would be somebody calling it a swamp puppy and trying to take it home with it.
Well, you can tame them in D&D. They are tameable. You have to feed it some certain thing, and it just becomes docile. That's really all it is. You can use it as like a beast of burden. It's not like a full-on house cat, but
a beast of burden that could wipe out an entire village by accident.
If it lifts its head,
Yeah.
Just make sure it doesn't do that.
You just put a bucket of water over its head and keep it submerged.
I feel just put a bag over its head. That's terrible.
The only reason for somebody to go intentionally seeking one of these out to kill it is because its gaze ability, at least in Castles and Crusades, its gaze ability persists through death. So if you kill the creature and harvest its eyes, it can be used to create other things that can cause the same sort of effect.
Yeah,
that's literally the only reason to go out and intentionally try to kill one of these things. Otherwise, this is another characterization of leave it alone. Don't touch it. If it comes after you, you're probably better off just running until it leaves you alone.
Yeah.
To add to the strange as well, in D&D, its death gaze also affects creatures of the ethereal and astral plane, so it can kill ghosts.
Yeah, it looks
So-
into the ethereal. The astral is an interesting one, but the ethereal, yeah.
So
Fantastic.
if you're prepping to go into a place with a lot of ghosts, maybe the hunting down some of these creatures would be like a side quest to get towards it, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's actually. Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah. Collect some Catoblepas eyes to defeat the Banshee.
Yeah, and then of course there's a druid circle that watches over and protects it. So you have
It's an
to
endangered species. They can't even look at each
Yeah.
other.
you have to figure out, either you have to smuggle one of these things out from beneath the druids' noses, or figure out a way to negotiate with
That's the
them.
point. What if one of these things was to look directly into the eyes of an Umber Hulk?
Well,
Would-
the Umber Hulk would need to make its saving throw, and it would need to make a confusion saving throw.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
And if they both pass, nothing happens, and you can guess the rest. If
I
one
imagine this
passes,
thing's
both
easily
fail.
confused, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it would have a great saving throw versus confusion.
Listen. I'm not here to know what the things are, but if you tell me what they are, I can come up with some good ideas. I'm like a Mad Lib like machine. Just give me a line of some illicit substance I probably can't name on YouTube and some ideas, and I can give you some prompts.
We better move on after that statement, which is we are going to move to a creature that was brought in by one of the chat. We have a warlock to thank for this, Ashray.
No, you don't. Yeah, Ashray.
Oh, no.
Ashray.
Yes,
Ashray is a warlock.
So,
yes.
yeah.
Do you want to have a look at the creature?
I'm as confused as everybody else, but this was suggested on X. wasn't it?
Oh, I know. Of course he suggested that one. Of course he did.
Yes.
What else could it have possibly been?
So, how do you think this creature is pronounced?
Yoklol.
Yoklol.
I'm gonna guess what he said.
Yeah, Yoklol. So it is considered to be a handmaiden of Lolth, an extension of the Spider Queen's will, dedicated to acting as her spies, taskmasters, and agents of villainy.
It's a beautiful lady.
What a lovely creature. Look at that weirdness. That just looks absolutely
Yeah.
strange.
See, I
Can
was
you
describing it as
imagine?
just a candle demon, but it's like...
Yes.
I think it's supposed to look like a candle.
Yeah, I think so. But it's an
It's-
abyssal creature.
It's
But
part
typically
wood,
demon.
isn't it?
it looks part wood.
Yeah.
I believe these were inhabitants of the layer of the abyss that Alolf now commands, and I think they were there first, and then she took over, and just now they're all her handmaids.
Yeah, and apparently
You look-
its normal form is yellow slime, but it can also take on the form of a drow maiden, or where's the other one?
Giant spider.
That's it, a giant spider.
I was wondering how they connected to Lulth, because I was like, this seems very. I mean, like, like how would this creature end up being a handmaiden? And I'm like, at first I was like, maybe there's like some connection here. I'm not aware. Like some of the deities in the lore, because. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired. I was looking it up recently, and isn't there with Lolth there, when people kind of leave her, if people decide to worship something else, that there's like a deep one in the Underdark that some people end up worshiping instead of Lolth, or am I misremembering
Yeah,
that?
there's a few other rival things to worship other
Yeah.
than Lolf, but I don't know what the deep one is. I mean, some of them turn to the good drow goddess, Elistray.
Elistray, yeah.
But-
But these creatures, apparently they're born, or rather bred, created in the demon web pits in the Abyss. So they are Lolth's creations.
Okay,
And
all right.
her spies that she then sends into the world.
All right, then.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting, weren't, now I've got to pronounce it, Yolkl's Succubi pre-Lothian encounter. Don't know.
Well,
Okay.
given that they can make, become, that they can take the form of a female drow. Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that.
There you go.
Yes, and I
We
think
haven't even got Ashray correcting us on any of this yet. So
well,
I mean,
that's-
my only argument against that would be that it specifically says that they are created in the demon web. So, I mean, they might have been inspired by succubi, as far as their female drow form, but I wouldn't say that they were succubi before Loth came along. That just
Oh no, I do agree with Steve on that one. But I'd say the succubi influences because they can become like a drow maiden, and lure unsuspecting people to their deaths. Yeah. Well,
Guess what?
Yeah.
We have one more.
Yes.
We have one more that was proposed by Mr. June Trader, and this was on X. So have a look at that one. That's not
it's
nice.
clearly not a regular skeleton.
No.
White? No, it wouldn't be a white. Everyone knows what a white is. Ooh.
He commented under my post, but I was holding the baby at the time, and
Yes. So it's
Feel
a
like-
Hukuva.
ooh,
It's a type of undead, a priest that has fallen aside, lost their way, and become this skeletal creature. So they roam the dark places of the world, probably keeping company with Gru. They can be found in subterranean realms, so we have returned back underground.
Back underground again.
Yep. As well as most temperate or tropical regions. Okay. Cold seems to prevent them from moving around, so they're not found in high, desolate mountains or any cold regions. So they don't like the cold.
It's
Are
weird
they,
for an undead.
That is very weird for an undead. Relatives of yours, Vicky?
Yeah, it's true, actually. So I don't
You don't like the cold.
I just come here to just look at this. This is what I have to put up with all the time, Alyssa.
Yes. So apparently they have dim memories of their past. Their lairs are decorated as grotesque mockeries of their old abbeys and temples. So they are
That's pretty
priests
cool,
who
actually.
who have turned or lost their path and then have died and become these creatures.
Are they intelligent?
Yes, they are quite intelligent. They can accumulate treasure, so they can be sought after. And is there anything else? They are nomadic and constantly wandering on a pilgrimage to nowhere, even though they are mockeries of the real pilgrimages. So yes, it's very much a, when used in-game, you could come to like a village or a town where the priests turned against their god, the god destroyed the place, and these are left almost serving a mockery of their old religion, taunting their old god.
See, I'm already thinking in my mind as a DM. I like undead creatures. I need to make a whole video on them at some point. Of encounters you could have with something like that, like going down the road at night, and there's just like these undead pilgrims. Maybe at first you mistake them for actual pilgrims, and they're not, and they're sort of walking around dead at night, very spooky. Or you go to a town, it's very quiet. It doesn't seem to be anyone here. Maybe you arrive in the middle of the night, and then you go to the church, and there's someone praying in there, chanting, and it's an undead.
Yeah. Oh, I think that'd be classic. Sorry, listen.
no, sorry. One of the things that comes to mind are like the leper colonies in medieval, like the leper town area places in medieval times or in Hebrew folklore. I think it'd be interesting if there was, like you were on the same route as you were talking about, like they call it like the leper, like they're not quite sure what goes on there, but every time someone comes, they're always wrapped up, so they assume that they're like lepers or something like that living at this monastery, and you encounter them like that, and there are all these skeletons. So that could be like an interesting like trap scenario, or you have to negotiate with these guys. The other thing that a question I'd bounce back to people who know more about this lore wise than me. I'd be interested to see what would happen in a campaign setting where both a lich and these guys existed, because liches tend to be more arcane magic, and if this has like a religious element, this might be more deity, more on the deity side. So I'm wondering if they would be at odds, like you're saying, or if maybe they are coerced into serving this lich overlord for some reason. Maybe he tricked them or signed a pact with them or something. I think that could be an interesting intrigue element to an undead campaign where you have different factions vying against each other. But I don't know. I think that might be interesting.
They're very Dark Souls, I feel like.
Yeah, it does come across like that. Yeah.
I was actually looking at it from a very similar angle to Alyssa, but instead of a lich, I was thinking more along the lines of a Death Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Because think about it, a Death Knight is the cursed fallen form of a paladin who lost their way. Right? One of the things that they do is gather armies of the undead, which means you're going to find a lot of skeletal zombie soldiers, stuff like that. Well, what do a lot of living armies have? They've got priests and clerics who travel with the army, providing support and, the support magics of their god to bolster the army. Why would a Death Knight not do the same thing with the undead version?
Oh, absolutely.
So imagine that, an army facing off with basically the undead version of itself, with a Death Knight being the battlefield leader versus a living human general.
Yeah. Right. Well, do you know what? It's 10:30 and we've been going for an hour and a half. I think this has been a fascinating exploration of the strange and the weird creatures of tabletop. Thank you so much, panel.
Just before you finish.
Yes.
And I know you really want to, but poor Ashray was taking a call when we were talking about his Yokolo and not being able to pronounce it and everything. So
no wonder we didn't get correct. You probably got all the law wrong.
I know. I was waiting for all
the
law
wrong, and poor Ashray missed it. So just for you, I'm going to pop him back on screen.
There we go.
There we go.
Isn't she lovely?
No.
So a water weird is just a weird water elemental.
It is. But I do like water weirds.
I have to say, Ashray, the more and more I look at this, the more I want to look at it on the side, and then I think it looks like a fish.
A little bit, but it's got oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
If you look at it like, I'm just trying to get everyone to turn their heads on the side.
Yes.
I feel like it would start a conversation with you, and you would forget that it's like some weird abomination, and then it would say something truly messed up, and then you remember, oh, this thing could eat me.
Yes.
Just the eye. It's just like a very childlike.
Well, I mean, that's why it has the ability to take on the form of a drow female.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
Just circled a bit back round before you say goodbye. And can I just say, all of you in the chat, you've just been phenomenal tonight. And I am so pleased. Yeah. Next week, Dean will be in full fluffy shirt regalia.
Absolutely.
If you want to see Dean, full fluffy shirt regalia, looking at Count Dean, then join us next week on Jack the Lost Laws Scholars, the Talking in the Library, where Minion 1 and Minion 2, well, actually, this means if you're going to be so next week, it will be the Count and his, what they call the nasty creatures that eat flies and work for the vampires. Yes, I'll be one of those.
Excellent. Excellent. Do we want to let the panel discuss anything that they wish to promote before we head off? And
absolutely, we do.
We'll pop their links into the chat. So, Alyssa, what have you been up to?
Oh, I have a book coming out this weekend. Nothing crazy. It's the sequel to let's just short version, a low fantasy with some historical kind of elements. Classic tale of a young man who lost the use of his arm and his leg, and he's the spare to his older brother's heir. Older brother dies. Everyone looks at this young boy like he's going to be like a puppet, but he wants to be more than that. So goes on a quest to become a king and all sorts of good stuff. So the sequel is coming out, and it's the final part. It's a duology, so that's coming out this
Brilliant.
weekend.
Well, I wish you the
Nice.
best of luck with that. I hope you do
Thank
really
you.
well. And we've just popped your link into the chat.
Thank you.
So everybody give Alyssa a follow, support her in any way you can. Paladin Steve, anything from your side?
So I personally don't have anything to sell, but if you like that old school gaming feel with modernized, smoothed out mechanics, and you're still waiting on those weirdos to release that game, what is it, Untold Destiny or something like that?
Get that.
Go to Troll Lord Games, check out Castles and Crusades. It's a wonderful system. They just released their updated Adventurers Backpack, which features a class called the Blade Dancer that was developed in collaboration with the Elven Maid Inn.
Yeah.
So go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Thank you. And Brass.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We've just hit over 700 subs.
Well done.
During the stream, so there we are. And my current series, How Strong Are D&D Adventurers, Part 2, released the other day. We've just discussed levels 6 to 10, so the next one will be levels 11 to 15, and then the one after that will be 16 to 20.
Are you planning epic levels?
Someone did ask that in the comments, actually. No. I might, when I talk about level 20 characters, I'll talk about how 20 isn't necessarily the limit, and you could go beyond that. But I don't think I could make a whole video on epic level characters because I don't really.
The rules are quite awful. Going beyond. But thanks so much, Brass, and well done. Congratulations on hitting 700.
Cheers.
I think you're doing so well there. Thank you. Right. Well, it is late, and I am going to be up in about 3-4 hours to do and talk Babylon 5. So
have fun with that.
I will.
So Sci-Fi Snobs channel. So if you're up or up late or whatever time it is, wherever you are, Dean will be on Sci-Fi Snob. I normally lurk in the chat, but I've got to go to work, so I'm not going to be. But Dean will be there. Fantastic episode, well, one I quite like. So go check that out. And what time is that?
I'm just popping that into the chat. That is in, I can tell you exactly now, because I know what time it is on our side, but that is 3 a.m. our side, which is in 4.5 hours time.
Has Jack posted something about an arrival that we haven't seen whilst we've been on stream, guys?
Has
so
he?
I'm seeing congrats on the baby boy appearing in chat, but I don't know if has anybody seen anything on X? I haven't heard yet, so we still don't know. We still don't know. We're all on tenterhooks. We're waiting.
Yep.
We're
Can't see
waiting
anything
to
yet.
find out. So we know it's imminent, but has it been already? I don't think so.
I
But
can't
let
see
you
anything.
know.
So
As soon as we know about the arrival of Vixen and Jack's baby boy, we will obviously let everybody know. But look, I know he really appreciates you coming along. Thank you all so much for all of the support. All right. And thank you, guests. You've been absolutely phenomenal. So
yeah,
with this,
you make the show.
No, I just press buttons and get them all wrong. My job is to press the wrong buttons. And with that, we bid you adieu. Good night.
Good
and
night.
See you next week. Now I got to press buttons.
You got to press buttons.
Okay, so I'm going to disappear.
mist and heather grey, where mortal footsteps seldom stray, there stands a hall of ancient stone, where secrets sleep and truth is known. The lost lore library, they say, guards wisdom from the light of day. Oh, Jack the keeper, wise and old, with silver tongue and heart of gold, he tends the books of days gone by, beneath the ever-watchful sky, and knights in tarbards green and white protect the halls both day and night. The shelves stretch high to vaulted beams, where candlelight on leather gleams, and manuscripts in languages dead tell tales that common folk ne'er read. But Jack, he knows each volume well, and which are safe and which to